everybody, and welcome to Weekly Gab with Share Bear. Just bring this down a little bit. It seems kind of high. So, we're in December. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving and that you had your stressful but fun time out there for your Black Friday shopping. Right now I'm recording right before Cyber Monday, so hopefully you find some good deals out there. This year I'm not able, my paychecks run in different time, and I'm not able to do my Cyber Monday because most of my shopping is online. I don't do much store shopping anymore nowadays for anything, not just for the holidays, but it's I think even easier for the holidays to just do online shopping. But we are going to get into the festive time of the year, and we'll get into the Christmas spirit. So we're going to talk about quite a few things this month, but I just wanted to mention a few things, as far as the history of Christmas. I was doing some research, and basically it's come out that, it's basically everything everybody already knows. It's traditionally a religious holiday. Unfortunately, our culture and economy, I guess, and all that have made it into more of a commercial holiday now, but it's still definitely my favorite holiday to speak of. I still enjoy it. It's unlike Thanksgiving, you have all the family around and stuff like that, but there's just more joyfulness, more fun, and of course, you got your gifts and all that. Christmas was actually declared a federal holiday on June 26th of 1870. I did when I was looking up some stuff and doing some research, I found I would say an amazing video, about 30-minute video, 45-minute, I don't remember, called The Hidden History of Christmas. I really suggest you go watch this. And I should have the link in the descriptions and in the comments below for you. It is so kind of, just cool and interesting. I was really liking what I was finding on there. I just can't even talk about, or not. It's not that I can't talk about it. It's just there's so much. And it's just easier if I can get you to actually watch the video. You'll really like it. Now, everybody has for Christmas their own traditions. I think this is really spread out. Unlike Thanksgiving, everybody pretty much does about the same thing. Christmas varies so much. You have, family traditions, and then you have, maybe the Christian traditions. You have your Jewish traditions. You have, of course, not even Christmas, Hanukkah. Yeah, that's it. Hanukkah and other different kinds of celebrations. So there's a lot out there. And, I won't get into too much of those, I think, just because there might be a couple of things that I find that maybe, as far as the food or, gifts, decorations or something like that might go for some other religions or something, or other countries or something that you might want to try. So it may be brought into there, but I don't want to, especially the religion thing, get into it too much. Just because it's not because I think it's wrong. It's not because I don't believe in it or anything like that. I mean, I'll let you know that I was raised Wicca, but I did get more into religion, and I actually started going. I don't go as much anymore, but I was going to a Baptist church down my street. So there's nothing I have against it. I just think that the wide variety of people that are watching the video have their own opinions, and I'm not here to preach, so it's not something I prefer to get into, so I'm just keeping it solid on the line of different things. I did find some interesting things that different countries do during the holidays. The Swedish, they have a Yule goat that they I'm not saying worship, but that's their symbolization, right? I think that's the right word, symbolize. Anyway, for Christmas. So that was kind of interesting, because they're even showing pictures of people that have made, this Yule goat, usually out of like straw and hay and stuff like that, in their yards. They actually put one up like New York does with their Christmas tree. They actually put a giant Yule goat in there, by their city hall, or in the middle of their town. So it was kind of interesting. In Japan, instead of having a big turkey feast or ham feast, whichever one you do, those are the most common. I think there might be some other meats out there, but starting it was 1974 when the Japan started a new tradition, and they would go and get dinner from KFC, chicken dinner. It became so popular that now they have to reserve their dinner over there. So, I mean, if you want something really different, I guess. I mean, it'd be definitely a lot easier. Maybe not as cheap or whatever nowadays, but excuse me. In Iceland, they have, and I didn't see anything. I could have maybe gone in, because I don't really know. It said that they have, like our 12 days of Christmas, they have 13 days of Christmas. But then they just said that 13 Yule lads come to visit. So I don't know if that's what they mean by their 13 days of Christmas, or if they actually do it 13 days, and each day the kids would leave out their shoes by the window, and either receiving candy or rotten potatoes, depending on if they were good or bad. I'm sure you can figure out which one was which. So this was just kind of a short little thing of little facts. So I don't know, I might have to dig into that one a little bit more and see that, because that seems, I'm curious now. In Finland, they have porridge made out of rice and milk for their Christmas meal. And when whichever child finds an almond in theirs, in the middle of whatever in theirs, wins. Now, it didn't say what they win. I'm assuming it might be like a gift, or maybe a treat, candy, whatever, candy or nuts or whatever seem to be the things. But I know it had mentioned that a lot of parents will put an almond in basically each one of the bowls so that nobody feels left out or feels like a loser. So at that point, I'm not sure what the point is, but, because they all know they're going to get one, so it doesn't matter. I guess it's the point of finding it, though. I don't know. Kind of my favorite things to see, even my kids as adults. I love giving them presents to see their faces when they open it. I am definitely not the type of parent, and I'm not saying it's anything wrong with it, but I'm not the parent that when it comes to Christmas, now I do it for birthdays, so I'll just give money out, but I won't do that for Christmas. I may, with their presents, give them a gift card. I know we used to do that. Kids, close your ears. I don't know if I usually don't put on for kids on this, so we won't have to worry too much about that, I guess. I don't want to ruin anybody's Christmas. But we used to put a gift card in their stocking along with, when they got older, along with their other stuff. Which I guess comes to another thing that talk about is traditions. I guess I can tell you some of the things that I do and we did as growing up, and I passed it on to my kids. Unfortunately, I don't see any of my kids really going on with my traditions. Granted, I only have one of my children that actually have a family. I have a daughter who has a child, but I don't, just being them two, I don't think she does the traditions really. So I don't know. I haven't actually asked her. I'll have to talk to her. But I know my oldest son really doesn't do them. They kind of go towards more to his wife's traditions, which is okay. But like I said, with the stockings, and I'm sure probably, I don't know if it's changed nowadays or whatever, but I know me growing up, you automatically, in your stocking, you'd get the apple, the orange, the nuts, mixed nuts, and some little chocolates, some kind of little chocolate. And then you got a small gift. That'd be usually, like just little novelty toy type things, yo-yo or something, something small. And then, of course, you had a candy cane in there. That was basically what I grew up with. And I passed that on to my kids, where I used to do the same thing. And that's why I said when they got a little older, we used to go ahead and do a gift card in there instead of a gift. But even though as a kid I never ate the nuts, I didn't like nuts, I never have liked nuts, I still don't like nuts, so I didn't eat those. But I did look forward to, believe it or not, the apples and oranges, and of course the chocolate. The chocolate probably not much because we probably still had our Halloween chocolate left. But, and it was the one thing, the stockings were one of the things that we were allowed to do before we woke up. My mother, we could actually go through our stockings and see what we got in our stockings. We didn't have to wait. But the rest we had to wait for. Now, granted, which is another tradition, Santa in our family, and I know a lot of people don't do this, believe it or not, but Santa did not wrap his presents. I mean, when he came to our house, they were left unwrapped. So we kind of got to peek at what he had brought us because we got to see them, but we weren't allowed to touch them. So we had to wait, and then we still really weren't allowed to play with them because we had to open all the other gifts, but we at least got to see. And I definitely passed that on to do in my family. Now, Santa always gave the best gifts, the more expensive gifts, everything. And, it's kind of sad because you sit here and you think, wow, Santa gets all the credit for the good gifts, But, I used to think, yep, because that was the best way for me. Santa had to give the best gifts. Um, I mean, there's no and or buts about it. I mean, I'm, maybe the best mom all year round, but somebody's got to top me off once a year, and it's definitely got to be Santa, for sure. Um, and you'll hear me throughout this probably talk um, more, what do you call it, fantasy-ish, mystical-y type thing. I know that technically there is no Santa, but I love to believe in something as far as he goes. I mean, it isn't like I go around and I totally believe in unicorns or mystical figures out there or whatever. Fairies, and I don't know, fairies are more real than I think. But I mean, things like that. I do believe. I love to use the imagination of that. Um, Now, would it be wonderful to see some of those things? Oh yeah, you know. But my chances are not going to be there, so that's why I don't let it kind of go to my head. But when it comes to Santa, it fills my heart to believe in someone like him. And so I love it to have kids at a young age that I can to pass it on to enjoy that fulfillment. And so, when my kids got old enough not to believe anymore, it kind of was the pits. I was like, oh. But now I have my grandkids, and I get to be happy and joyful and talk about Santa and go see Santa. I keep saying every year I am going to sit on Santa's lap and get a picture of myself, and I haven't done it yet. But I'm going to. I got one with Chuck E. Cheese. That was exciting when we went for my Leo's birthday party. We went to Chuck E. Cheese, and I hadn't been forever, and so I probably got a little excited myself as a kid. Yeah, so any of my kids, I went wild. And up there dancing and everything with the kids. But that's not Christmas, so we're not going to talk about that. Back to my traditions. Now, growing up, we did have Christmas dinner. We had ham for Christmas. I know some people will have it ham for Thanksgiving or ham and turkey for Thanksgiving, and then like some people have turkey for Christmas. I don't know. We had ham. Now, me, I'm not a big ham eater. So as I was growing up, I didn't care for making Christmas dinner like I do Thanksgiving because I didn't care for the leftovers. Like, kind of weird. Plus, I didn't like the idea that everything was going on in the morning. And then after, you open presents, you have your coffee, whatever, your hot cocoa, stuff like that. You look out, and then you got to go into the kitchen and do cooking. I didn't care for that. So, being basically a morning person anyway, so half the time I would have to go wake up my kids instead of them waking up me, like I had to do with my mother. And with my mother, we better make sure we had the coffee ready before we went in there and woke her up so that she could have her coffee and her cigarette before we went out. So we still had to wait. And I was usually up before my kids. But I like to sit there and we'll sit there and we'll do the presents and everything. And granted, I'm still in the kitchen. But I've probably started already some of the stuff. But we end up having a big breakfast buffet on Christmas, and that's a new tradition I started with my family. Something you might want to think about. I mean, I literally make pancakes, French toast, cinnamon rolls, eggs, bacon, sausage, everything pretty much. Hash browns or breakfast potatoes, one or two, muffins. I'll sit there and make different kinds of muffins, and they'll just practically sit out, most of the day where we just munch. So that way when we're done with all the busy stuff, then we can literally sit, maybe eat if you want to eat some, we can play with our gifts, and we can just relax for the rest of the day. And like I said, it's kind of an all-day thing, so they can munch all day, and sometimes we might sit there and eat something later on in the evening, but nothing major if we do. Otherwise, we've been munching all day and picking on the food all day, that it works. And there has been a couple of times a year that we actually, after we're done, we end up going to, families. We went to my mother's a couple times, probably my father's a couple times, for dinner. So then it works out. But I just didn't care for the whole dinner thing, so I decided to change it. And I guess that's the good thing about traditions, is that, you can, do something a little different, or change them up, or add something, or take something away for your family, even though you're raised, a certain way. Sometimes it can be a little fun to experiment on those. Try something new, But I guess that's about all. I used to, of course, read my kids on Christmas Eve. I almost forgot about this part. Christmas Eve, you get to choose one small Christmas present to open. I have no idea why my mother had started that one. Because, I don't know, it seems like it might be a little bit of a tease. But, yeah. And, then we would, I would read the kids the night before Christmas. It was always the one story that we'd read, and then it'd be bedtime. We did, of course, the cookies and milk. It was the only time, as my kids were growing up, I'm getting more back into the baking stuff, but it was the only time that I actually made cookies from scratch. Otherwise, I was starting to make them, because, just having 4 kids around made it a little bit harder, so I would just go get, cookie dough and just cook it that way. Or buy packaged cookies, kind of got a little lazy. But Christmas came, and we'd always make sure that we made sugar cookies and chocolate chip cookies. I made both of them. And we'd decorate the sugar cookies, of course. And so we would leave a couple of each of those cookies out. I think, I can't think that we really used milk, though. I think we left them out hot chocolate, which is kind of weird, because it was probably cold. Granted, I would just heat it up. And I think that's part of why we left hot chocolate, too, because I can't drink milk. So I just didn't. I'd have to actually pour it down the drink, because you can't. I don't know. I might have been able to pour it back. But there's more chance that there was evidence that Santa drank the hot chocolate than there would be the milk. So, so that's what I did there. There's something else. Oh my goodness! I gotta stop that today. There seemed like there was something else that I was just thinking, and then I sidetracked myself as far as my tradition goes. But maybe not. So, that's basically my traditions. I don't know if there's something else that maybe you guys do a little different. Please comment. Let me know. I like to hear some of the stuff people, do. I said, I sit there, and when I got to know other, families or whatever, and they're like, well, we don't do that. I'm like, what? I thought maybe everybody did it. Like, especially the Santa Santa gifts. I couldn't believe how surprised I was when I found out that that there was like more percentage out there that don't leave their gifts unwrapped. And growing up, I guess we just kind of learned that Santa didn't wrap his presents because he made them. So he couldn't wrap them. The elves had to make them all up, and so he just had them in his bag ready to go. I mean, how is he supposed to know whose is whose if he had them wrapped? I don't know. I mean, I guess he writes on them, but we just all. It was always, and I actually enjoy it more. I think it's funner more not to have Santa's gifts wrapped. But that's me. And that's something I do. I don't think, unless you're literally just starting out with something, I don't think that's something you could change in your family. You can't, that'd be hard to explain why all of a sudden Santa didn't wrap his presents. So I'll be happy to keep that one to myself. But any of the other little tricks you're welcome to try, or just, do. I know when my kids got a little older, of course, then, because I don't think it was when I was a kid, we didn't think about the reindeer, which is, I guess, pretty sad. So when my kids started bringing home reindeer food from school, I thought it was kind of cool. I didn't know exactly what to do with it. You know what? I think there was a couple of times growing up, I think we did leave some carrots out. I believe we did, because then Mom could just feed them to the horses. So I think we did leave carrots out a couple of times, but now, which, I don't know. I get the glitter. I guess they put glitter in it so that the reindeer can find it, glittering on the snow. So I guess that's a thing, but it seems like that would be kind of harmful. I don't know. And maybe they know better not to eat it. I don't know if it's mixed with the food. But it's still kind of cool that we at least think of the reindeer out there nowadays and not just Santa. That, the reindeers do a lot of work pulling Santa around throughout the whole night, to get house to house. They probably have a little bit more. I mean, Santa just sits in the sleigh while they pull him. I mean, and even though there's 8 of them, then, still, I mean, they still got to pull, and everybody has to work together. I don't know. That's just like me rambling on. I'm sorry. Now, I know later on we were going to be talking about Christmas songs and Christmas movies and all that. And I wanted my grandson to be in with me when we talked about the movies, Leo. But he actually did not want to do it this week, but he promised me he'd do it next week. So we're going to get more into the movies next week instead of this week. I did want to sit there and talk about some themes. If you're getting ready to decorate, I don't know, some people start right away, but all my decorations I really thought about that I may ask my oldest daughter. I believe they're over at her dad's house, she calls him. But she has all my decorations. So I think I am going to maybe ask for those back and start using them here. I don't know. But I really want to start decorating again. My main thing I wasn't really in the spirit, but it was a little bit harder. I had 2 dogs, I guess you'd say major dogs. And even though I have the cats, it just seems like it's a little bit easier with cats than it would be the dogs. So I didn't put up a Christmas tree because it's like they would just destroy it anyway. So, but I'm missing my house decorated, lights and nativity sets and stuff like that and all that. So I want to try to start doing that again, getting up there having it decorated, even though not too many people at my house. Now, though, I haven't decided what kind, if I'm going to go for a certain way or if I'm just going to do a little bit of everything. It's kind of the way I think I did before. It's just kind of a little bit of everything. Found certain things and like, oh, I like this, and like had them all over the place. But I know there's, you could make it a kind of a country theme, kind of, I don't know, either southern, western, whatever, little country home, log home type scenery. I mean, even though I'm a lot country, I just can't picture my house looking too country. So I don't think I want a lot of those, what is it, like blues and whites and I don't know, a garden land. There we go. Or, I'm trying to think of another thing that they, the berries and twines or whatever. That's a lot of decoration for the country type, I believe. And then there's the vintage. I knew the word, I just had to get it out. Vintage kind of looking thing. Where, you can go back to finding, it might be a little harder, but, finding the old cardboard decorations. Some of the, older, you could really go back and go online to either eBay and stuff and finding decorations from back 1940s or something, I'm sure. And really go total vintage and look really old, which might be a cool thing, but that's definitely not one I'm planning on. Another way to go is by color. You could sit there and do specifically one or two colors or something like that and have it all done. That, you could have your white tree with the blue bulbs or gold balls. You could go gold and white throughout the house. And you can do all that. Again, I don't know. I definitely, hopefully you guys cross your fingers that I can do this year. But as far as being able to decorate. If I do, I am definitely going to take you around and show you what I decided to do. So you can look. I am too this month planning on doing a little bit more on the side videos or whatever of things that either if I'm going to make something as far as a decoration or cook something for the holiday, or maybe even go somewhere. I am planning on doing the video and putting it in. So now that I'm getting that down, I just don't know how much I do. I really would wish I could afford to go out and buy a lot of gift ideas and show them to you, the product, because I do want to bring up some gift products or gift ideas and stuff like that. But I probably won't be able to get them, or at least even get them on time. But it's something I'm definitely looking for next year, so I can start purchasing things now, and so that I can show them to you, and maybe even just show them to you throughout the regular times too, not just for Christmas. We'll see. Now, granted, it's obvious by next Christmas, because we talked about everything this Christmas, that I won't be able to sit there and actually talk exactly about what we talked about this year. Like, I'm probably not going to go into the history of some of the things. And that's why I have my handy-dandy notebook. And I'm keeping records so I know not to repeat too much for next year. Granted, of course, some things will probably get, repeated, but we'll probably do a little bit maybe a little bit less. I mean, I just had to figure out, when it comes to, December and Christmas, we might do a little bit less talking of Christmas, and we might actually have something else that we could talk about. I mean, it's a year away. I don't know. I only decided to start with the themes of the month because I didn't know exactly what I was going to do my podcast on or what kind of stuff I was going to have in it. So, of course, again, if you have any suggestions, leave comments below. But I'm actually kind of happy with this. I would like to get to the point too that I don't have to do as much research, that I'm more talking personally. Maybe do a little bit of research or something like that if I want to look up something or whatever, instead of just sitting there coming up with research that you can simply find yourself. I mean, do you really need me if you could just look it up yourself? That's why even the research I do, I kind of like try to go a little bit beyond of what they're saying. But going back to the decorating, there's also, you could go a whole new way nowadays. And you can do, I was trying to find a good word for this. I know there's a word. Electro, maybe? I don't know if that means what I'm thinking. But just like all electric. You could sit there and there's the tea lights out there. I guess those aren't electric, those are body operated. But all lights, I guess, is what I mean. Electricity type, I don't know. Anyway, you could sit there and have tea lights. You can have those neon lights or whatever, that you stick on things now. Have those all over. I don't know, you can just go all anything. I mean, just like all over the place. Like have electrical signs of some sort or something. I don't know, blinking signs or something. I mean, there's so much you could do. You can make like a nativity sign, like on a computer screen or something, going across on the computer screen or something, somebody walking through the nativity, or with electronics nowadays, there's so much you could probably do out there. You probably could go way out like that and do all that if you wanted to. I mean, we've got places that we can go to people's houses that have Christmas lights that operate with the music. I mean, so just think of what you could do in your house too. It doesn't have to always be out of your house. And it doesn't have to be huge like you would do out in the yard. But you can, of course, add the yard into with the house. And go way wild. I think your kids would be like, what the heck? But, that's just an idea. I'd actually like to see somebody do that. That'd be kind of cool. It's just have, I don't know, the electric trains all over, Christmas trains going all over places, something, I don't know, and I mean, just trains alone is a theme. You could do Christmas trains, if you're into the trains. You can do the whole nothing but nativity sets around, that you've collected. Of course, you don't have to just bring one or two out. If you have a lot of them, let's go for it. Put them all over. Now there is one thing that I've noticed is kind of new, and it may have been new last year. I think I just seen it this year, that I've seen people do is actually put their tree on the walls, make a tree that's closer to the wall or on their walls, which I think is kind of a cool idea, just because it probably saves up space. I mean, and it's really simple. I mean, there were some that they just stick those little hooks across their wall in the corner, and they'll go back and forth with garland or string and then decorate it. There's one that's used cardboard, that you sit there and you cut out the cardboard into one of those like spring things, bring it up, put some string through it to hold it, and then decorate with some garden or whatever. Garland. Yeah, you'll probably hear me say that, because saying that fast is always going to come out garden. But I thought, that was that's kind of a cool thing to do nowadays. Saves up on cleaning, I guess, as far as real trees, unless you're a real sucker about real trees. My mother was. She tried a fake tree one year and just said, nope, never again. Got to have the real tree. So we always did a real tree. Now my kids, because I was in a blended family, they kind of grew up with, well, it started out to be both. The real tree, we do 1 year real tree, 1 year fake. But then I just got to the point where I was getting too lazy. And I said, okay, let's just do the fake tree every year. So now we do a fake tree every year. I believe my son and his family, I'm pretty sure, they do a real tree. At least down in the living room. And then upstairs, I think they do like a little fake tree. But yeah. So, of course, the real tree's probably the best thing. I mean, you gotta have, granted, you have all the pine needles that come off after a while. And, a little bit harder, but I don't know. I think it's worth it when it comes to Christmas, is to have a real tree. It's just not the same not to have those pines in there and the smell of pine. Which now you guys got me thinking, if I decorate, I'm thinking I'm going to get a real tree. I have a fake tree, but I think I might have to go out and get a real tree this year. Anyway, I've gone quite a bit of time, so we're gonna leave the rest of it for next time, guys. And I think we'll end there for today. I did have a couple of fun facts, but I'm not going to go into them right now because, like I said, we went over time. And you guys have just got done watching or am watching, whatever, my one that was really long and took forever to get out there to you guys after Thanksgiving instead of before Thanksgiving. So we don't want to make them too long for you guys to get too bored. So for now, until next week, be kind, care for one another, be kind to yourself, and care for yourself. Be safe. Bye.